Intel or AMD? A question that has been asked by many people as well as answered by a lot of people. No, seriously, a lot of people have been asking that same question over and over, and a lot of people have been answering that question over and over. The reason for that is that every year Intel will launch a new set of chips as well as AMD. So, which one should we choose? Before we continue this video, I'd like to point out that I'm not going to get into a very detailed part of, Intel or a very detailed part of AMD as far as each individual chip or, their clock speeds, any of that. I'm only going to give you the noob experience here. So, without further ado, let's get right into the intro. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm only going to give you the noob explanation between Intel and AMD and which one would probably be better for your build. Here are a few things about Intel. They have higher clock speeds. A lot of people will argue that Intel is better because the motherboards for Intel have been here longer and they are more compatible and whatever, which they aren't completely wrong to a certain extent. I mean, Intel being here longer already puts them, ahead of the company, right? In other words, Intel has been basically considered the good old reliable at this point. A few things about AMD is that you actually get more for your money. So what I mean by that is when you buy an AMD chip, you actually get a decent cooler for it. With Intel, well, you may not get the same thing. And if you do, I can guarantee it looks pretty bad. Like, I would not put that in my system. I would not put an Intel CPU cooler unless I knew that was gonna be shut closed and no one was gonna be able to see it. But even then, I still would not do it. The thing about AMD is that you get more for your money. Like, not only does it include a CPU cooler that's sort of decent and good looking, you actually get more cores, more threads, more raw performance. Basically, you get more for your money. So there's a lot of people out there who are testing the chip, different types of Intel and AMD chips, and for the most part, the chips have a very hand-to-hand competition. They might outperform each other in certain tasks. Some will do better in other areas, the others won't. But for the most part, they both have a really hand-to-hand combat when it comes to benchmarks. The reason why a lot of people might still choose Intel over AMD, even though it's a little bit more pricey, is because Intel so far has been performing a lot better when it comes to gaming. Not only that, the fact that Intel has been around for a longer time makes it more compatible with certain apps. What I mean by that is, certain programs work a lot better with Intel because it's been there first. They literally grew up with that processor. The only problem that AMD really has is that it's the new kid, and the new kid is a little bit unexperienced, and there's a lot that AMD could learn. But I have a feeling that AMD will basically soon dethrone Intel. I am currently running an Intel build on my system. I'm going to give you the reason why I decided to go with a Intel build over an AMD, even if it cost me a little bit more. The reason why I decided to go with an Intel build was because, well, I knew Intel was, at the time, a little bit better than AMD when it came to gaming. I knew that the system that I was going to build was going to be mainly used for gaming and other things. And, well, I did spend a lot of time watching videos and maybe reading some of the forums on the internet about Intel's processing chips as well as AMD's, but for the most part I just always thought Intel was a more trusted brand, and hence why a lot of people will do the same thing, go with an Intel build, even if it costs them a little bit more. It's just a trusted brand. If you're watching this video and are still wondering whether you should go with Intel or AMD, if you're watching this video and you're still deciding whether to go with Intel or AMD, my advice to you would be basically consider what you're going to be doing as far as tasks and whatnot. Consider those things and see if maybe an AMD chip will just be as fine as an Intel. As far as performance, it's not like AMD chips are like bad quality or wish list type of stuff. No, they're actually really good. As of recently, AMD released their third gen chips. They might dethrone Intel with how fast they are. A lot of people are disappointed with Intel because they've noticed that they haven't really been pushing the envelope as far as AMD has, and no one really understands why that is. I myself don't know, and I am kind of curious too. What I really want to know is AMD going to dethrone Intel, and is Intel going to turn down their prices? Because let's be honest, Intel's a little bit more pricier. One thing I want to point out, whatever chip you decide to go with, make sure you have the right equipment for it. What I mean by that is make sure you have the right motherboard, that will support its speeds, and make sure you have the right RAM speeds, because that would help you a lot. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a different video for another time, specifically talking about motherboards, chips, and chips that keep going to the motherboards. Moral of the story is, it doesn't really matter what you go with. The way things are going right now, AMD and Intel are hand to hand, and most likely you wouldn't really have a problem with choosing either. The only thing is, well, AMD is cheaper, so I would definitely go with AMD. I'm kind of stuck with the Intel build, but hey, maybe a few years down the road, I might actually switch from Intel to AMD. I don't know. Maybe once prices drop and this whole pandemic thing goes away, maybe things will be better for the gaming community as well as, you know, everyone else. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching this video. If you like what I was talking about, make sure to leave a comment below. I really enjoy making some of these videos, so hopefully with the holidays I'm able to buy a couple of parts, and I'm hoping to maybe make a PC video, so stay tuned. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure to hit that button as well as the bell notification. It would really help me out. Again, if you have something to say, please let me know below in the comments, and you have a good one. Okay, peace.